good chance you went over some of it, but it's definitely some of the things that maybe were a little harder than others in Algebra 1. The date today is what? 10/7/13, is that right?
Yes, correct.
3.1. What is 3.1? What should I write down here?
Distributive law.
Distributive law
Hyphen.
of multiplication.
I like doing nothing.
And hopefully it will correct itself and correct itself.
Yeah.
When you guys do these, I don't want you to simplify and multiply in the same step. Okay? Distributive law basically says that if you had some number A and then B plus C, what is that going to equal? Because I'm putting these in parentheses, I'm saying A times what? Every term in here. Okay? So it's A times what? B and A times what? So this is the same as saying AB plus what? I know that some people teach FOIL. I'm not the biggest fan of the FOIL method, first outside, inside, last, for the simple reason it doesn't work every time. Do we understand what the terms are? How are terms separated? They're separated by what? Pluses or what? Minuses. So how many terms are up here? B was a term and what? C was a term. Here's a rule that I would like you to know. Whenever you're multiplying things in parentheses, multiply every term in here times every term in, what do you think I'm going to say?
There.
There. I know that's pretty, like, that's kind of layman's terms, isn't it? If you follow that rule, though, it matters when you're multiplying things with 2 terms times a thing with 3 terms times a thing with 4 terms times a thing with 2 terms. FOIL only works for 2 by 2. In other words, 2 terms in here, first inside, outside, last. If you guys remember what FOIL is. Basically, all you're doing is multiplying every term in here, because isn't that what we did here if we put parentheses around this? How many terms were in the first one? Did I multiply every term in here times every term in here? I went A times B and A times what? Did I multiply every term in here times every term in there? Works for anything. Okay? Let me give you an example. We're going to do this one. Now, everybody stop writing, just watch me do this, and then you can write it down after we're done. Every term in here, how many terms are in here?
2.
Times every term in here, how many terms are in here?
2.
If you look at this as a bunch of separate little multiplication problems, you're fine. If you try to look at x plus 3 times x minus 4 and expect to get the answer to pop into your head, it's never going to happen. You know, it's not like saying 3 times 4, what's the answer? 12. guys can do that, can't you? This isn't the same thing. You're not gonna, the answer isn't just gonna pop into your head. So do one thing at a time. In other words, first of all, let's worry about this first term. Every term in here times every term in there. So multiply the x times what? That term. Is there any other terms? That term. So let's see what happens. What's x times x? X squared. What is x times negative 4? Negative 4x. Okay. Are we done? Have we multiplied every term in here times every term in there? What's the term left to multiply in here? The positive 3. So I need to multiply 3 times what? That, and times what? So what's 3 times x? So plus 3x. What is 3 times negative 4? Now, have I multiplied every term in here times every term in there? You know you're right. These grouping symbols are here to say multiply everything over here times everything over here. We don't need grouping symbols when we're only multiplying one thing, do we? They're used to group more than one thing together. However, they're also used in algebra as a multiplication symbol as well. You've seen that before, haven't you? But in essence, they're only grouped to group this away from this. So every term in here times every term in there. It just happens to be only one term in each of them. Now, when you do this, a lot of times there's going to be some simplifying to do. Not always. Are there any other x squared terms? No, there's not, so just bring it down. Are there any other x terms? Right here. Is that an x term? Okay, you've got negative 4x's here and a positive 3x here. These 3 positives cancel out what? 3 of these 4 negatives, leaving what? 1 negative, so I can put negative 1x if I want, or you just put negative x, can't you? Are there any just plain number terms? Other number terms? No, so just bring it down. There's your answer, write that down. Now really, when it's all said and done, is that hard?
No.
You see how this was just 4 multiplication problems? And then I added the things that were alike? Please don't think x times x is 2x. It's not, is it?
No.
X times x is x squared. Second example. These things can get a tad bit nasty when they get really, really big. Tell me when you guys have got that written down and we'll go on to the next one. We all done? Can we go on to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, I would like all your pencils down. And I'd like you to watch me do this one, even though some of you probably are like, I can know how to do this, that's fine. But I want to stay with the same concept. Okay, we've got 2 sets of parentheses. No matter what's in here, no matter what's in here, gotta take it off, freeze. No matter what's in here, no matter what's in here, every term in here times every term in there. This is a term, the x, correct? I need to multiply the x times what? How many terms are in here? 3x. I need to multiply times the 2x, the what?
3y.
And the what?
-10.
So let's do that. What is x times 2x? Gabby, please put that up or I will be forced to take it away. 2x squared, x times 3y. Now, here's one thing here. So when you deal with 2 variables, usually xy is the same thing as yx, isn't it? Try to make yourself write it in the same way. That way you don't get confused with like terms. Usually you always write them in alphabetical order. So with this in mind, this would be 3xy. Everybody see that? X times negative 10 would be a what? Negative 10 what? X. Now, am I done? Have I multiplied every term in here times every term in here? I haven't, have I? I now got to multiply this other term, and pay attention if there's a negative there, right? You got to multiply through by a negative, don't you? I have to multiply that times 2x times 3y and times negative 10. In this problem, there's 9 separate multiplication problems, isn't there? So y times 2x would be what? Positive, and write positive so you know you're adding and subtracting next time. What? 2xy. What would be next? Y times what? 3y. Would give you a positive 3y what? Squared. Y times negative 10 would give you a what? 10y. Have I multiplied every term in here times every term in there? Okay, you're done. Now all that's left to do is combine like terms. Are there any other x squared terms here? Bring it down. 2x squared. Are there any other xy terms? They're all right there. So you've got 3xy and 2xy. How many xy's do you have? Plus 5 xy's. How many other x terms do you have? None. Minus 10x. Already done this, haven't I? How many other y terms do you have? Huh? Y squared terms. You don't have any other y squared terms, do you? And that's the only y term, isn't it? Check yourself again that you brought it down right. Are there any like terms? No. Hey, don't discriminate against ugly things. It's not our fault. Okay? Just because it's ugly doesn't mean it's the answer isn't right. That's supposed to be a joke. Thank you. However, you've simplified like terms. Now you've multiplied that out. Okay? Any questions on that? Your assignment is numbers 1 through 25. Write problems, draw figures, show all steps and words. There's really not any figures to draw. I expect to see this second step and this third step. Circle it up, label your like terms, whatever you need to do. You don't necessarily have to do this. I suggest it though. Maybe for the first couple, 2 or 3 problems till you get the hang of it, okay? You don't have to circle it and then draw the arrow, but for years I've always done that, but you don't have to. But I do have to see this second step. I don't want you multiplying and simplifying in the same step. Okay, we're going to take this slowly, step by step. Show me how you got from here to here by writing out all these separate multiplication problems, then combine your like terms. Don't simplify and multiply in one step. Everybody got that? Okay, let's get to work, because we'll have a worksheet over this tomorrow.